Elise Wax with Screenopolis. And hi, Kevin. How are you?
Oh, good. How are you, Elise? Thanks for taking
I'm
the time.
good, thanks. Thank you for doing this. So tell me about casting the kids, especially Brian, who is clearly you.
To say the least. I got lucky. The casting director on our movie, Amy Renee, is expert with young actors. So she found Siena for me, who plays Melody, Nick, who plays Bernie, and Reed, who plays Belly. Austin Zajur, who plays Brian David, I found in my daughter's bedroom. I was like, "What are you doing in here?" They've been dating for 5 years. And so I've been around Austin for 5 years as a person and as a performer because we've done stuff together. He was in Clerks 3. He was in this short sitcom competition I did during the pandemic with TBS called Celebrity Show Off. So I got to work with them. And originally, I wanted my daughter Harley to play Brian David. I was like, let's Yentl this shit, man. We'll have a girl playing a boy. And so, because she looks like me, and forever my wife has always said, like, she's just a beardless, dickless version of you. So I was like, maybe she could play me. And she was like, never, dad, never in a million years. Like, I'm already dealing with Nepo baby shit. I am not playing you in a movie. So I was like, fine, I'll use your boyfriend. And so he wound up nailing it. Like, basically, he's on the shorter side. So I was able to get rid of the fat aspect of me because I grew up a fat kid and make him short instead. So Austin didn't have to gain any weight and he just had to be his natural, charming self. But I've seen the movie now, many times, of course, editing it, but I've watched it with audiences. And I'm honestly, of anything I've done in my entire film career, one of the one of the smartest decisions I ever made was casting that kid as me. He does a thing in the last scene where he's like, telling Melody Barnegat how much he's into her and stuff that I didn't even ask for. I was shooting the sequence, and all of a sudden I see his eyes glass up. He's getting so earnest, he's getting emotional in the scene. And I was like, that is more me than me, for heaven's sakes. Like, I'll always be thankful because it's comes at the end of the movie and it does deliver such an emotional wallop and takes you the last length and makes you believe that this kid is in love, and that wasn't on the page. That was in the eyes of that performer. So he can sleep with my daughter for as long as he wants, as many
Wow.
times as he wants.
Was it awkward directing kids in a movie since your films are generally more kind of adult based?
I mean,
Put mildly.
To put mildly, yeah. I mean, the good thing about when you do this job is you have a state of arrested development. So in your head, you're always like fucking 20 something. I'm frozen at the age I was when I made Clerks internally. So you're reminded that these people are not your age when you do stuff like there's a Highlander joke in the movie. And after we shot the scene, the kids were like, what is that? I was like, what do you mean? What is Highlander? They're like, is that a local thing? Because we shot in Atlantic Highlands. I was like, it's a movie called Highlander, man. The Kurgan, there could be only one. And they had no cultural awareness of this movie whatsoever. And I remember going like, everyone has seen this movie. And apparently everyone my age has seen that movie. But kids in their 20s, it went right over their head, man. And I was like, oh, this makes me feel so ancient.
Well, I've seen it, so I
Right?
guess that makes me ancient.
We're old, kid.
Yeah. Um, can you now you shot this in your childhood movie theater, which you purchased. What is your favorite movie or memory from there?
Oh, from that theater?
Yeah.
I would say probably my father took me to see Raiders of the Lost Ark there. And I didn't know much about it before I saw the movie. And my father was not a very communicative guy. He was nothing wrong with him, but he just didn't talk a lot. He was kind of quiet. 70s dad. He wasn't your buddy. You just respected him and listened to him and stuff. And when we went to see Raiders of the Lost Ark, like he never talked in the movie theater. He barely talked on the way to the theater or the way home from the theater. But when we went to see Raiders of the Lost Ark, he was talking his full head off all throughout the movie. Like I'd gone to the movies with my dad many times, but I never went to the movies with Don Smith the human being at the heart of my father. And he loved the experience. I watched him turn into a kid right in front of my eyes. He was like, oh my God, these are just like the cliffhangers that I used to go see when I was a kid with your Aunt Barbara. He's like, we'd pay 50 cents and we'd see half a movie and then we had to come back the next week to see the ending. Like, they're doing cliffhangers again. This is amazing. Are you having a great time? I'm having a great time. It was like he had done like a line of coke off my mother's ass before we went to the movies or something like that. He was just so into it. And seeing that version of my father brought to life by a movie, like his wife didn't get that reaction out of him, but all of a sudden here he was, this open font. Like, I met the movie fan that was my dad. That impacted me, man. That made a difference. That I could draw you a direct line from seeing my father be a real person in the movie theater because of what the art did for him, whether it was that movie or sitting with him through Raging Bull and watching my father cry, like getting moved by make pretend shit and realizing that art can make you feel a way. You know, if it can make my father feel a way, then it's okay to like let yourself go, embrace the feelings of whatever art's going to bring to the table when you take it in. So I'll never forget that, sitting next to the old man and seeing him just kind of transported, seeing him become somebody completely different, this better, warmer, happier version of himself. And I was like, you know, it wasn't like in that moment, I was like, one day I will be a filmmaker. It was just why I like going to the movies with my dad. But then later on, I was like, wait, I've spent so much time going to movies. I think I know how to make one of these. That's what happened.
Nice. Well, they're telling me to wrap, but I just have to ask really quickly. The trailers in the movie were so fun. Are there any plans to turn those into a feature,
Let me
like
tell you,
Grindhouse?
somebody ever wants to give me a couple bucks to make Sister Sugar Walls, I'll be there in a heartbeat. From the guy
Okay.
who made Dogma, Sister Sugar Wall.
Great. Well, thank you so much.
Such a pleasure.
Have a great day.
You too. Bye bye.